Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, Ranking Member, and thanks to the panel for being here on a really important topic in terms of trade. A week or so ago, I was with the Pennsylvania Secretary of Agriculture, who laid out, I thought, in rather unique terms, the opportunities within trade when he said America is a country of 303 million stomachs, and the world has 7 billion. And that made sense to me. My question, first of all, is traditionally we have miscellaneous tariff bills, MTBs, as referred to around the Hill, are introduced each session of Congress, and these bills usually request certain imports into the United States to be given duty-free or reduced duty status. MTBs tend to be really non-controversial. Everybody signs off on them. In the 110th Congress, there was no MTB. In the 111th, we've yet to see floor consideration. I recently was told by representatives from the National Association of Manufacturers that the MTB is critical on the wish list for things to get done during the remainder of the 111th Congress. And my question is, where would you place this on your membership's collective radar? And I'll open it up to anyone that may have an opinion. Mr. Greenblatt, we'll start with you.
As a manufacturer, this is a very big topic for us, and we need to get these things passed. It helps American jobs, it helps American grow and thrive.
Okay, thank you.
On behalf of the tech community, we have enjoyed past agreements like the Information Technology Agreement and others, which are designed to do exactly this. They can be beneficial for U.S. technology because we still are the envy of the world in that regard, but also because our supply chains extend to these different countries and different customs or tariff reductions, why I mentioned in my testimony, can then be expressed in a more competitive price by our small company who's exporting back.
Very good.
Well, it seems to me in following this that the MTBs unfortunately got caught under the general cloud of earmarks, which I think is very unfortunate. I think the MTBs, as far as I haven't looked at all the details, but basically you're reducing the cost of inputs often to a firm which is exporting or maybe producing domestically, and I really don't think they should be bagged together with the other earmark issues.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Johnson,
I'm not aware that it's an issue in ag and food products.
Okay.
It might be.
Thank you. Mr. Bond, following up on the technology, how does engaging the global marketplace spur cutting-edge innovative innovative ideas?
Sure. That's where companies can have success initially as they start up a new product. Fond of quoting a former Commerce Secretary who, after hearing about all these small companies who were starting in garages, said, well, America needs more garages. We need more small, innovative companies. They often find success in a particular niche. They make a company, a product like Mr. Greenblatt's overseas because they're embedded in the production process or something. They're in numerous ways, but it's the innovation, the lion's share of innovation comes from the small companies, and they're finding unique opportunities all around the world. So I think it does have to be central to U.S. policy. How are we going to help small businesses? They drive innovation, which then reverberates through the entire economy.
Okay. Just kind of a follow-up, can you elaborate on the connection between increased exports and job creation?
Sure. We continue to see growth in software services and other very high value-add portions of our economy. Those are, as in my testimony tried to point out, disproportionately reliant on overseas sales, and those small companies are where the cutting-edge innovation is coming from. So I think the two are inextricably linked, and why I was so happy to appear today.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Johnson, most of my farmers are fairly small farmers. Our dairy herds are about 86 head in most of Pennsylvania, and certainly in my congressional district. How significant is the export trade, in your opinion, is to smaller farmers?
Well, all of what farmers produce in most cases is aggregated, and then those commodities are sold.
Right.
And as has already been said, depending on the commodity, it may be well over half, it may be a third of the commodity that finds a home in an export market. You mentioned dairy. It's interesting. In my testimony, I talk about some of the issues we've faced with being frozen out of markets relative to poultry, to pork. The BSE issue with beef is another really good example. We're still out of many countries without any real scientific basis for it. Just this week, I believe China has put in place barriers to dairy products. And if you think of the irony there, it was not that long ago when we were all reading on the front page of the papers about melamine in infant formula. And it wasn't in this country that folks were doing that kind of thing. And so that's an example of the kinds of things that I've tried to talk about, making sure that we, even after we sign these agreements, we've got to go back and make sure that we hold their feet to the fire.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Mr. Bright.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Let me thank each one of you for being here and for your very valuable, informative testimony, quite frankly. It's very heartening to see you and hear you say